Welcome to the Sex and Love Labcast. This week, it's a high and horny, and we're talking to my roommate Jennifer to check in on that friends with benefit situation she was wanting to get into about 5 or 6 months ago. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Sex and Love Labcast. I don't know why I always am so loud. Welcome
Me either.
back.
Me, not you. Me.
What?
You said you don't know why you're so loud, and
Yeah.
then you started to talk about when you say the we're back part, and I just meant in general. Me, I'm
Oh,
always so
oh,
loud all the time,
he is always very loud. I'm typically not so
unintentionally. It
loud.
is not. It is not
That's true.
intentionally.
So this is an episode of High and Horny, which means
We are both high.
um elevated in a different state. I'm gonna be honest with you. I had to kind of had to use a lot to get there, but I think it's because I haven't eaten since this morning. And I think I've heard that like it works better in
Is
your
it like
system if
alcohol?
there's sugars. If there's sugars. No, it's the opposite. I think that the greenery works better if you have, food in your system.
Food
Like
on
if
your stomach. Yeah.
yeah. Something about the sugars in your blood. I don't really know. That's probably not real. I don't know.
I mean, you
Um,
would think that I would know more about it if that is a
you know what?
thing
You know what I forgot?
that I have diabetes.
No, the timer. Again. It's okay. I got it now. I got it. By gosh, George, I've got. I don't think that's a thing either. So we're here today. We're here today.
Go.
We're gathered here today.
To
About
discuss
6 months
the very
ago,
short-lived friends with benefits search.
about 6 months ago, you met Jennifer for the first time. BT Dubs. This is Jennifer. She's my roommate. She lives across the house. She's currently, if you go out my door and to the left, once you get into the hallway, and then you take another left, and you just go around, and that's her room. And our friend Charity is in the living room right now. She didn't want to be
She
on
just
camera.
appeared at our house,
She appeared at our house, like we were just chilling,
sitting
and I
on
walked
our
into the
sofa,
living
and neither
room,
one of us.
and she was just there eating her Whataburger, and it was fun though. It was
But she knows
fun.
how to get into our house.
What? True. But anyway, she's there. But Jennifer is my roommate. You met her about 6 months ago, somewhere in there, sometime. I don't really know. Early on in the podcast
August time
history,
frame.
you met
August
her,
September time frame.
and we were discussing her desire for a friends with benefits.
A unicorn
Except
pie in the sky opportunity
it was like it was basically a relationship. Like
without relationship requirements.
what but they were doing all the things that a relationship requires.
But we didn't have to check with each other if we ever wanted to, like go out of town for a couple of weeks, or like we didn't have to answer to each other. It was literally such a great experience.
Like they met each other's family and friends, and
Well, not so much friends.
oh my god, the family's the bigger deal anyway.
I
Ding
mean,
dong.
it was literally, I mean, yeah, it was his mom and his daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. Am I
I
alone
think I
here?
met one of his cousins one time. I mean,
So it was this perfect setup. And so summer of last year, she and I both had done a lot of like work on ourselves and just kind of generally just said we're gonna stay away from men. And we had both kind of gotten to the point that we were ready to get back out there. She was wanting this friends with benefits scenario that I don't think exists. And I was like, I want a relationship. And will update me in a minute. But so I was just like, I don't know how you're gonna find this. And she was determined, determined that she had done it once and she could do it again. And you know what? I like that about Jennifer. She is determined. Um, we're big into manifestation. And I know there was probably some trying to manifest that scenario. So
Um,
how did that, did we, did we find that unicorn scenario?
no, we did not.
No.
No, I had so I had three opportunities. Um,
I like that opportunity.
opportunities. I had three opportunities to, but potentially find this. One was someone that I did not know prior to the last podcast. The other two
Okay.
I did know prior to the last podcast.
Okay. So let's talk about the one that you didn't know prior to, because I- you and I haven't really discussed this.
No, so of course it was somebody that I met online on
Mhm.
Bumble,
How old was
and
he?
he was 35. And
That's a good age. That's a
yeah,
good age. So I like between the ages of about 28 and 35.
see, I don't know that I could do 28. 35 was about as low as I was.
She
I don't know,
says
maybe
that?
32.
No, stop. She says that like being a cougar is something bad. Hang on. I gotta show you guys something. I gotta show you guys something. Hang on.
Oh, our group.
I don't know if you can see it on the screen,
Hold
but
on, back it up just a little bit. It's not, yeah,
it's not gonna focus. Anyway, it says the Cougar Club, and it's me and her
it
and
is a
Charity
picture of the Golden
Golden
Girls.
Girls.
It's me, it's the two of us and Charity. And then my mom would be Sophia, because my dream is for my mother to come and live with me. So I think that would definitely be a fantastic opportunity. While I'm looking at, 4-bedroom houses, I could look for a 5-bedroom. That's what I'm manifesting right now. So,
Hey,
I'm
go
speaking it
back to this
into
35
existence.
year
It's
old.
gonna happen. Okay,
You've gotten
sorry.
way off track. I
Third,
don't think she wants to talk about this.
I don't really.
Why are we on a podcast?
Because you wanted to do a podcast.
You could have said no.
I
You
could
want to
have.
go? You want to
No.
go? I can talk about something else. Okay, so tell me about the 35-year-old.
Okay, so 35. And he made a comment. Um, I don't even remember what it was, but somehow it came up about. He said something about that's more time for me, and I was like, hold up, let's make sure we're on the same page.
Wait,
Okay.
what are you talking about? That's more time for me.
I don't remember. It was something like, I don't have time for something or another. And he's like, yeah, that's more time for me. And that's when I was like, no.
Oh, so you were saying that you didn't have time for something else going on in your life or something?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you
Like that.
totally didn't let us know any of that. You just
No. Okay. So that's what I'm trying to get to. So it was very early on in the conversation, and it was
confused.
something about, I don't do that kind of mess. I don't have time for that. Um,
Um,
I'm trying to build whatever. And or before I said I'm trying to build whatever, he was like, okay, good, that makes more time for me.
yeah, no.
And I was like, mm-mm, mm-mm, no.
The key component of a friend's benefits is that you don't have to feel obligated to make time.
Nope, nope. And if I can't make a time, that you propose, you can't get butt hurt about it, and vice versa. um if you want to if I want to, hang out with you and you've got other plans, then okay, you've got other plans. Just, don't be a pussy about it. Just fucking say it and
I'm
don't.
sorry, I'm shedding
Oh,
and it's dropping on my cleavage and it's tickling me. No, yeah. I'm sorry, keep going. I was
no,
distracted.
no, it's fine. So anyway, I came out and
That
was like,
was
look, this is all I want. Like I do not want nor need anyone full time in my life. He was like, I get it. Your time is valuable. I run a business. I, have this, that, and the other. Kind of obviously building himself up, which I later found out was, half truths. Yeah. Again, we haven't had this conversation yet. This is all new to you.
it's been a busy few weeks.
God. Um, anyway, so
So that was the red flag and that kind of turned you off. What else?
it was a really bad kisser, which kind of played into what I needed because I needed
You
it
need
to,
something.
I needed it well, and the personality kind of same with the last friends with benefits. It was, and it was not that he had a bad personality, it's that he and I just had personality traits that did not mesh well. And we knew that about each other, and
Or
there
didn't
were
mesh well long term, at least.
exactly like we're great to be friends, but we will never be able to live together. So it kind of worked to leave the emotion out of it. Like there was no real, it kind of went back to the it's just sex thing, which was kind of what I didn't want. I don't know, it was just it wasn't what I was looking for, regardless of what it was, what led to it not being what I was looking for. It wasn't what I was looking for. So that one fizzled out. I had another person. Okay, so that's just the one that I did not know prior to the last podcast.
Right.
Moving forward to the ones that I did know prior to the last podcast. So, and that was kind of, I don't know if I mentioned it in the last one or not, but that was kind of what I wanted. I wanted somebody that I was already familiar with. I didn't have to go through the figuring out whether it was any good or not. Like
All of it.
I could make the choice that, hey, I know that this is really good and I know that I'm going to like it. And I know
They
that
know
I'm
what
not,
their body looks like. They know what your body looks like.
I know how you
You
kiss. I know
each
how
know what
you
the other
move.
likes and
Oh,
dislikes. It sucks so bad.
it sucks so bad.
That is one of the biggest reasons I'm pissed off about my breakup. He was so inquisitive too. He wanted to know everything to make the best experience possible. And you'll hear about that next week on the podcast because it was great. And I'm pissed off about it. I'm sorry. I just can't. I can't. I'm gonna get mad. I'm gonna get mad.
Okay, deep breaths.
Also, I am elevated enough that like I can feel my lungs breathing. So you're over there talking, and I'm like,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, it all hit me really hard.
That's so funny.
So the first one, the 35-year-old that you didn't know, there was no chemistry. There's no good electricity. The kissing was not great. The personality was obviously a problem. Camera. Well, it's focused on my microphone because I was playing with my hair. No. Hang on, I got this. Boom. Clarity. Now, so there were two others. Now, I know that one we're not going to speak of.
Yep, one we're not going to speak about.
One
Um,
will one day probably be a podcast unto itself, a series of podcasts.
yeah, one has a lot of drama, dramas, like 6.5 years of drama.
Like, delete him from my phone, but then he texts me, so I talk to him. What kind of toxic are you? You delete the body, but
You find something. Oh, red blanket. How many red flags can we count? I mean,
between the two of us, too many.
oh geez.
Okay, so that's fine. We'll talk about him at some point in the future when there's when it's appropriate. The other guy though,
Cross some boundaries. So he this man was
you knew
very.
this guy though.
I knew this guy from 2 years previously. So in November of 22, he and I met for a very brief, like 2 week, 3 week thing. He is a first responder in Daphne and has a really crazy schedule, and I completely understand that. I don't know that 2 years ago I mean, I did understand it, but then he like pretty much blamed the whole thing on me, saying that like I needed more time than he could give me, and or that I anyway, it was all my fault. And
Of course it was.
yeah, and so when I went back on Facebook dating in like September, he swiped on me, and I was like,
Really?
"Oh, really?
And so you matched him.
You been with who? No,
I remember
for
that.
real."
I remember that. 2020. Long live 2020. Yeah,
That
yeah.
was such a good
What a
sound.
time
Like
to
people still use that sound. It's fantastic.
it's great.
Anyway, so I was like, when he swiped on me, it pissed me off. But then it was also like, is this the universe telling me that I could actually have what I'm looking for?
Sending something her way. We are big woo-woo girls. We believe strongly in signs. And so, I mean, I several times a week would be texting I just saw this at this and I was doing this. Do you think it's a sign?
All the time.
It's probably just a sign that we're psychotic, honestly.
I agree with that.
Listen, I asked my therapist, life coach, I asked her, I was like, I said, do you just read my texts sometimes and are like, oh God, here we go again? And she's like,
Here we
what are you
go
talking
again.
about? And she's got some of the tism too, right? So she takes things very literally like I do. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? And I was like, when I start telling you about the signs that I've seen, but you know what she said? She said, no, I just think that you know more than most. She's very supportive
Of our craziness.
well, I don't want to put it that way since she is my coach, but
Of your
of who I is. She is very supportive of who I is.
open mindset.
But she's been privy to seeing some of the things that I have said were going to happen. You know? So many of them.
Mm-hmm.
So many of them. So, yeah.
I think
What
that's why, like, the few long-term friends that I have are so supportive of me because they've seen me say this is going to happen, and then it happened. Like you have seen where I have said something, and then literally weeks later, it happens,
Yep.
or 3 months later,
Yep. It
it happened.
happened. Yeah. 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 Uh-huh. Yep. So I'm not saying we're both a little that we have ESPN, but
I mean, we
there's
do have
something.
ESPN.
Technically, that is the case, but I was trying to be funny and make a joke.
I know that's what I say. I say that as well frequently.
But we do. Sometimes we just know things, and I don't know why we know things, but sometimes we just know things. And my even Casey is like, no, I believe you. Because I
Yeah.
started seeing some signs of some stuff last week, like um there was a song on that I related to Mr. And like immediately I was also scrolling on Facebook at the red light and there was a picture of a lady and her last name was his last name. And I'm like, I actually hate seeing the signs.
I do too. I
I
do
hate it
too.
because it's like I see them, I know this means something, but I
But
don't know what it
what
means.
do you know? What? Yeah. What do you?
Because then you don't use Spotify, do you?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so they have this DJ feature, and what it does is it takes like your library and the things that you've listened to, it keeps up with that, and then it plays songs for you. And there are some songs that relate to a person that from the pat whatnot mountain, that
Mhm.
relate to mountain, and I have not listened to that playlist in months, months and months. So I see a a blue 22, which is one of the symbols, and then I see some triples on some license plates, and then the DJ is like, "All right, I'm gonna throw it back to 2023 when you listen to a lot of these songs," and it was all of those songs, and I was like, "Oh, I don't want this." What were we talking about?
Oh, the signs about um Daphne and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
how
We
I
got way
thought
off track there. Sorry.
way that is how our ADHD brains go. We had to like back it up to see where
And
we
now they're elevated,
oh,
elevated ADHD brains.
right. So this guy was really high up on my list of like he was up there, like way up there.
In terms of what a good time had been had.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I get
Um
you.
and that since that was all I wanted, did not want
Mm-hmm.
did not want a real relationship. Literally sent him the last podcast so that he could know going into this what I wanted. I actually
That's a good
sent
idea.
I sent all three of these men the podcast. Now whether the short term the 35-year-old watched it, I don't know, but I do know that Daphne watched it. Um sorry. So of course he comes back into my life and I tell him everything like you want to start dating someone, you let me know. But if we're gonna be together, it's just gonna be us. Um, if just
We're gonna be
tell
intimate. Yeah.
exactly. Just if you're gonna be with someone else, if you are with someone else, just tell me. Um, and so we talked really pretty steadily for like 2-3 weeks, which was what happened the last time. And one day we're talking about, so first off, he broke plans with me like twice in a row. Once was because of work, and I completely understand that. But once was because he got the flu shot and he said that he was going to feel really bad that night and that I probably shouldn't come over.
I'm blurry again. Sorry.
It's okay.
Autism. So, I mean, the flu shot can make you feel bad. That does not normally make you feel bad that immediately. This is from somebody who had a shot that actually had a reaction.
And then, so this was on a Thursday. Saturday and Sunday, he was helping his friend move.
Okay. What else?
Um, so I guess we went like a week without talking, and I was like, I'm not gonna let you, ghost me this time. Like we were literally just making plans to hang out, and then you just disappeared. Like, no, you know, either be like, hey, I got, shit came up, or I don't know. Again, just asking for respect. Maybe I'm asking for too much.
I don't think so.
Um, but don't just ghost for 10 days. I'm like, you don't get to do that. Well then like 2 weeks later, I'm trying to think. I think it was the day that the kids did the wreaths across America. It was in early December. No, early November. No, I don't remember.
It was at some point in November or December.
Might have been October.
Oh my God.
No, I think it was November. I think it was early November. Anyway, I know it was, yeah, it was before Thanksgiving. Anyway, so, sorry. Um, sorry, Michelle is like blowing up my phone. I'm just,
Oh no. Is she
yeah,
okay?
didn't think to, I don't know. Oh, Jesus.
Tell her to give you
I have
15
something for
minutes.
you. It's a fun thing that you can use whenever, but definitely on, okay. BTW.
So how you guys doing? Really? Week been good? Yeah, I get it. The 9 to 5, the hustle, the grind.
Okay. Sorry, I'm back.
We'll get back to this conversation later. All right. I
So
feel like
anyway, so he messaged me one day and was like, "Hey, what are you up to?" And I was like, "Actually, nothing." Um, and he asked me to come over, and against my better judgment, I went because I was still just hoping. Like I had that little bit of hope that like this is gonna work out.
yeah.
Um, Massive red flags. Like he had a girlfriend, which was something that I had made very clear.
It,
Yeah,
did she know?
I don't think so.
Yikes.
I don't think so.
So,
I
so
don't think
guys,
so. And the
so
reason that I say that is because she FaceTimed him while I was over there, like while I was there, and he didn't answer. And then he called her back and was like all pissed off that she had FaceTimed him. Yeah. Um, there were and a couple of things happened. Um, I, against my better judgment, made some decisions that I shouldn't have. However, I did as in the past. Um, I have never felt so concerned about my well-being with the man. Like and I've my and maybe I just was not so aware. But my second husband was very sexually abusive with me. And I mean, again, I was, 22 years old and I didn't realize how absolutely terrible his actions were. I understand now at 45 a man's actions and what they mean. And when you see that so early on, I don't even want to have really great sex with you. I do not want to have you in my space at all. Um, do I think, never mind. It could have gone a lot worse than it did. Um, and I haven't been that afraid in a really long time. And if I ever was afraid with my ex, it was different than what this was. This scared me. So that obviously ended. I thought really long and hard about possibly saying something.
To her or to him? To
We'll
him.
talk about this later.
Okay.
I don't want to incriminate myself.
Got you. Just keep moving forward. And so then number three has
So
been
number three has been a situationship for 6.5 years.
and the most recent.
And the most recent. Um, again, had not spoken to him since early 2023. And in August or September, don't know if I contacted him or he contacted me, don't remember. I would have to go back through my text messages and see. Not that it matters, but one of us contacted the other, and we sparked up conversation again, just talking as friends. He was out of the country at the time. And so at that point in time, there wasn't, I mean, it was just literally us just being friends. Well, then he came home. And I had that conversation with him. And I was like, look, this is what I want. Are you willing to give this a try? I know. And he said, yeah, but he was like, I feel like you're going to catch feelings. And I'm like, well, if I do, we'll have that conversation and we'll end everything. Things are different. So, but again, I said I wasn't going to talk about him.
You did say that.
So, so yeah.
But so I mean, what have you decided about having a friends with benefits? Like, is that still a thing?
No. So I have decided for my health and well-being and mindset that I am going to discontinue my search. For medical reasons mainly. I have this underlying fear of getting pregnant at 45 years old
With diabetes.
with diabetes. There's a lot of different things. I do have an IUD, however, it is at the 8-year mark in February. And I don't have an appointment to have it replaced until August, which if I was not sexually active, then that really wouldn't be a problem. However, I
When you are, it is.
have been, exactly. And when you want a friends with benefits, you are going to be sexually active. That's the whole purpose of it. Um, but being 45 with diabetes, with an IUD that's on its last leg,
Not very comforting.
no, even if you take all the precautions, I am just deathly afraid that it will happen. And I do not agree with certain procedures as a form of birth control. However, in this particular situation, I would have to go to a different state for my health. And I'm not going to take that risk.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I'm not going to.
I don't.
So I feel like that will end any kind of friends with benefits option, because you're kind of limited at that point, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there are other things that can be done. However,
Well, there's also the aspect that you and I were chatting about, which is, uh, you're working on your Etsy business, and we both have a tendency to get easily distracted by things. We both have ADHD, and you don't need any distractions.
no, and right now I am in a minor slump um, with my store. Um, I had a really good first part of the month. The beginning of January was phenomenal. Best sales I had had in the entire store, you know. Well, and I mean, I opened it in October. Um, but I hit some milestones, and it was fantastic.
Mhm.
Um, and then this past weekend, things took a very drastic turn down, and over the last 4 days, it has 4 or 5 days, it has been extremely difficult for me to stay motivated and actually work, not
This is a
just be
pattern.
busy. Yeah,
This is a pattern
it is
for
a
her.
pattern. It is a pattern of mine, and I'm trying really, really hard to break it. Because if I can break this pattern, then I can break so many
It's
other.
like, so she's so talented. She researches and researches how to open these different Etsy stores, and researches different, like, what she's going to sell. And she gets, I mean, it's a perfect plan. And then she does really, really, really great. And then, as businesses do, they fluctuate. But when you have ADHD, like some people do, both of us, it's really hard, because you stop getting those bursts of dopamine from this thing. And when for people who have ADHD, we count on those little bitty bursts of dopamine to keep us going. And so if we're not getting any from this task, it's like, "Oh, well, I don't want to do this anymore." That's the
Which is
science of
why I
it.
am literally hand drawing a design that I found. I used a template. However, let's see if you can see it.
Yeah, you can kind of see it.
So this is my little bunny.
I'm a little bit extra.
Yep, I'm a little bit extra as a toddler t-shirt design. Um, it may sell, it may not. I don't know, but I I'm working on one. I'm building my knowledge with this program that I've had on my iPad for years, that I've just doodled in. I might actually be able to do something that makes me happy, make me money
And
too.
she don't need no dick to distract her from that.
That part. So I'm honestly okay right now. Like I'm over the whole. I mean, am I still horny? Absolutely. I'm 45 years old.
Man,
My hormones are like pew pew pew.
I and when we recorded that episode, I was like, I want a relationship. And then I ended up in a couple of different
Situations.
scenarios,
Yeah,
situations.
scenarios. That's the best.
I did have one good run of a friend's benefits. He was here for 5 weeks at the naval base training. That was great. He was great. And then I fell into my relationship. And so I'm back on the dating apps.
I'm sorry. I'm not.
It's not there's some okay. One there's a 22-year-old who wants me to lock him up in a cage
Where?
for a cage, a chastity cage.
I'm gonna need you to do this at his house.
Oh yeah, no, he can't. He can't come. He can't come here. Yeah, no. But I told him today. He was like, "When are you gonna lock me up?" I'm like, "One, it's ma'am. Two, I don't know that I'm going to." I was
Oh,
feeling froggy. Yeah, so I don't know what's gonna happen with me. I want to be in the relationship I was in. I want to be in that, but there's too much road. So, we'll check back in about 6 months and see where you're at, and maybe sooner than that.
yeah.
That's Jennifer. That's her.
Hey,
I'm Lauren. I am a certified sex, love, and intimacy coach in Pensacola, Florida, and sometimes I talk people through their problems with sex, love, and intimacy in exchange for dollars, more than $1, more than $2. But it is what I do. And I find it very rewarding. And I would love to help you if you have something that you need help with. It's like talk therapy. You might have some homework. It might be something sexual, but it doesn't involve me, just so you know. I
she has
charge
some great
a whole lot
testimonials.
extra for that. Huh?
She has some great testimonials.
I do. I can give you some. But anyway, you can get at me. I'll maybe put somewhere on the screen here my contact information that might be beneficial. And as always, this podcast is also brought to you by After Dark Playgrounds in Pensacola, Florida. It's a really cool, kinky Airbnb.
It is
Jennifer
really
has seen
cool.
it.
It is
It's
so
awesome. They've
cool.
got
I
like five or
really,
six rooms.
I
They
really
got
want to. I want to rent it. I want
we're
to.
gonna
Well,
do
I
it. We're gonna
mean,
we're gonna do it.
if I once I get to where I can do that again,
Okay, we'll save up.
not anytime
Um,
soon.
but it's got bondage rooms. It's got all different kinds of BDSM rooms. There's a massage room. There's a beautiful kitchen. There are two bathrooms, two bedrooms, some swings. Like there's some really cool stuff. And you can rent it on Airbnb or you can rent it through their website. And I think you can avoid a few of the fees on Airbnb if you rent it through the website. Don't tell anybody I told you that. But go check them out.
It's always better
And
to go through
their
them.
stuff is somewhere on the screen as well. Also, we've gone this whole time, and I'm not really sure if Jennifer is over here or over here, but I
Oh
think
yeah,
she's over here. I watched the video and checked out the one earlier, but I can't remember. All right, well, that's all for today. Say goodbye, Jennifer.
bye, Jennifer.
She did. Love you guys. Bye. Mwah.
Bye.